गोव्याबाहेर राहणाऱ्या गोयकारांच्या मालमत्ता बनावट कागदपत्रांद्वारे परस्पर विकण्याचे प्रकार वाढलेत. असाच प्रकार नेरूल इथल्या फ्रान्सिस नरोना यांच्या बाबतीत घडलाय. सरकारी यंत्रणांची संगनमत साधून आपल्या पूर्वजांची मालमत्ता हडप केल्याचा आरोप त्यांनी केलाय. त्यांच्याशी संवाद साधलाय आमचे म्हापसा प्रतिनिधी सौरव शिरोडकर यांनी.
My name is Francis Narona, and we've got an ancestral property in Nerul at Fortavado. We normally reside in Bombay, and the owners of the property it was my grandmother's, and has then subsequently been come down through an inventory proceedings to the rest of the family, of which we are one of the siblings of. My father is a sibling of my grandmother. Recently, on the 1st of November, while driving past, I observed that somebody had, gone through the property and cleansed it completely. On making further investigations, it was noted that the property had already been sold. And nobody from the panchayat, the ward member, nobody, despite knowing us and despite having our contact details, nobody intimated us of such a proceeding. Subsequently, we went to the Porvorim police station on the 1st of November 2021 and lodged a complaint. The IO instructed me to give him title documents and further information and photographs regarding the property in question, including the Form 1 and 14. The original one, which was in my grandmother's name, as well as the new one, which had been mutated into the name of a 26-year-old or 27-year-old girl from Belgaum and another person from Dakshina Karnataka. After giving them all the documents, we asked him to file an FIR, as the property had been effectively stolen by virtue of forging documents. He refused to file an FIR. He wanted more information. So he asked me for information of the mutation that had taken place. So we went to the Mamladar's office and the sub-registrar's office in Mapsa and applied for under RTI for all the requisite documents that were involved in the forged transfer and sale of the property. It's a very strange thing. The deed of sale that they executed was blatantly forged. It's nowhere close to what a Portuguese document deed of sale even remotely looks like. Despite that, they had it certified as original, as a true copy, with coincidentally the very same lawyer and his daughter, who was the lawyer involved in our inventory proceedings, spanning almost 10 to 12 years, all the way from 1994 till 2004 when it was completed. And his daughter is supposed to have notarized this document as an authentic document and a true copy of a forged document, which was effectively used and submitted to the sub-registrar and the Mamladar for the sale and the mutation of this property. On further investigation of the said forged original sale deed, it was noticed that they had executed a sale deed in the year 1956, 12th January 1956, when my grandfather, who is supposed to have signed that document in 1956, was in his grave in 1943, 2nd of September 1943. So after 13 years, he rose from the grave, came from Bombay to Goa to sign a deed of sale. Besides that, the signatures that were annexed were totally forged, nowhere even remotely close to his original signature. And to make matters worse, because there is an erroneous spelling mistake on the Form 1 and 14, they converted that same spelling error onto that deed of sale. So effectively, a person who owns properties and an educated person, a bank manager at that, did not know how to sign his own or spell his own name. Thereafter, I kept going to the Porvorim police station multiple times, all the way from 1st of November 2021 till January 2022. And after getting totally frustrated and being run around and giving multiple copies of the files to every single officer in the hierarchy, I eventually had to approach the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Parmaditya, who very, very nicely directed the SP North Zone to ensure that my FIR was filed immediately. The same day, on the 22nd of January, I received a call from a head constable in Mapsa asking me to please visit the police station, which I did. And in haste, he wanted me to file the FIR, which we sat down, got all my original complaints on a pen drive, and sat down and redrafted a fresh complaint upon which the FIR was filed on the 22nd of January 2022. Thereafter, I had to proceed back to Bombay because of some urgent domestic commitments. When I came back after a month to inquire if there was any progress, there was none. And this was despite the fact that I had given every single document relevant to the theft and forgery in the said case. And the investigating officer told me that they had their own process and they had to rely on copies that they would get from the respective departments. So I said, your seniors had made an opinion that a prima facie case has already been in place by virtue of certified documents having been applied for under RTI by myself. However, we had to go do it his way. In any event, February went, March went, April went, May has almost gone, barring a few 2 days left, and to date no charge sheet has been filed. I approached the DGP of police on the 13th of May and he assured me in 15 days that everything would be sorted. However, unfortunately, we are well past the 15 days and nothing has been sorted. On the contrary, yesterday I was privy and part of the so-called interrogation of the primary suspect, the primary perpetrator of this crime, and the kind of questioning, the leeway that the man has been given. He is not an accused. He is treated just like I am treated. There is no difference. Their standard SOP, their SOP of interrogation is, "Are baba, sang re, konen kele? Ha? Nazler tu fostolo teje mode. Sang re amka." Oh, he munta. The police. Kal. Now, if this is the kind of investigation and interrogation that takes place, I mean, why would anybody want to come through? Where there is absolutely no propriety in the way that a felon is treated. Certain felons are given the 3rd degree, while certain people get the benefit of being treated with all the niceties of life. Instead of unceremoniously being given the standard police operating system of extracting information when is required. I mean, I have gone through similar instances where people have extracted information. The media is aware of how people extract information, but this was something quite contrary to the way I expected. And despite having approached the senior PI and the hierarchy, I still feel that I'm a long way of getting any kind of retribution and getting the property back, despite all the evidence glaringly being available to them that it is a blatant forgery and a blatant travesty of justice. Added to which, I have been given a runaround by insisting that a civil suit be filed, which is the standard operating procedure. Why a civil suit? Because the suit can continue for ages and decades. I will go down in the grave, my kindred behind me will go down in the grave, and the matter will still remain in court. And who is the beneficiary of all of this? The lawyers on both sides. Whilst I and me and my family, extended family who own this property and who have been deprived of this property, we have been victims of this crime, and we are being further victimized by the system. The administration, the law and order, at every juncture, we have received absolutely no benefit of being treated with the kind of response where a victim should be treated. Glaringly obvious, and which has been established when I filed for the RTI from the archives. The PIO of the archives was a very nice gentleman who spent a lot of time with me and explained to me exactly how the forgery had taken place. What these people do is, they get an electronic package which is available literally anywhere for the asking today. You type in your material in English and you can get the output in Portuguese and in script. The fonts are available dime a dozen. It's then printed out on paper. The rubber stamps are held by them. They use these fake forged and duplicate rubber stamps that they have created, forged rubber stamps of the Department of Archives and Archaeology, and they endorse this and then produce it to a lawyer of their knowing and who is familiar with the proceedings under which they are doing this, because standard most lawyers in Goa are very well privy to exactly what is an original Portuguese document and what is a fake, especially a blatant fake. But despite that, we have noted established what is the authenticity of the document. I won't take names, but they've told me we only certify that this is a copy of that. But there is an obligation. There is a moral obligation. When you see that it is a blatantly forged document, like somebody steam lifts up the plastic on a passport and removes the photograph and superimposes another photograph, and then goes to take a color photocopy of it and wants somebody to notarize it as a true copy, when you can see blatantly that it has been tampered with it, would one do it? Similarly, this is a racket. There are specific lawyers and notaries who are known for this, that they are approached. Specific lawyers and notaries are only approached by these type of people because they know no questions will be asked, a little more money is taken to ensure that all this is done. And who are the people who then do it? They then circulate the sales so that it goes through 3 sales within the system, by which the 4th time the poor owner and the unfortunate new buyer who buys at a premium rate are both stuck in court. The buyer says, I spent honest money. The original owner has been defrauded, and the main perpetrators of the crime get off scot-free. This fake deed of sale was coincidentally after I was educated by the PIO of the archives. He identified to me, despite the fact that this bears no likeliness to what an original deed of sale looks like, with no stamp, no stamp. Okay? And electronically screen print instead of handwriting.
This is original.
This is an original.
Okay.
Okay? These are the stamps of the original. कळ्ळें? आता हें पळय. Okay? Intun कांयच stamp कांयच ना. It is just bearing the stamp of the notary as a true copy of a fake. Then we go to the date of application of this so-called deed of sale. The date of application of this deed of sale was on 5th of October 2004 and entered in the register bearing receipt number 488. कळ्ळें? But कितें जालें? They forgot that they have received the document on 23rd of September. That means almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks before the application, the document has been extracted from the archives. So he says it's impossible. This date should have been at least 2 weeks after the date of application, not before the date of application. आता फुडें पळोवया. Tabelião Costa is the one who is supposed to have executed this deed of sale. Okay? Whereas here on the rubber stamp, it is mentioned as Tabelião Pegado. And on the deed of sale, it says Tabelião Costa. Okay? Anik, Fude. The deed of sale was registered on the 12th of January 1956. My grandfather was in the grave on the 2nd of September 1943 at St. Peter's Haynes Road Cemetery in Bombay. This is his gravestone. And the date of death was the 1st of September 1943. Here is the burial certificate. Okay? So 13 years later, he rose from the grave to come down to Bombay, execute a deed of sale, and then bore machine to potun gelo. And here amchen Goankar pon. And who are the people who support all these people? Amchens, Goankara. These are the parties, okay, the owners, the so-called owners. This is the person who is supposed to be buying the property, the purchaser. Okay? Sridhara Kattiman. This is the biometrics of the other purchaser, a young girl, Kavita Lankapannewar from Belgaum. And this is the crook. And to my manner of thinking, in this particular instance, has been put up as the mastermind, Mr. Cendric Fernandez, who runs a Manos in Borien and is the owner of vast properties as per his, what is it called? His affidavit on oath. And look at the biometrics that he has produced. His biometrics are not proper fingerprints, they are just the tips of the fingers, as is evident. And how did the sub-registrar accept this? And 99% of the times, all these properties are owned by people whose families are either litigating within themselves, which is the reason why outsiders can just swoop in and take the property, or they are old, immigrated to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the US, UK, and they don't have the time or the inclination or the physical ability to do all this. I've been running around non-stop for 7 months, up and down every day, visiting every police station at every level, all the hierarchy. And people only say, yeah, we'll do. Net result, 0.